Okay, so I'm gonna film 2 videos today. Welcome back to this rooftop series on leadership. I might just start doing these when I get back from my hike. Okay, so I read a little blog post yesterday, but then I deleted it. But I did think it out, so I'm gonna explain it here. Well, actually, I did a video blog while I was on the mountain, but yeah, I just didn't post it because I felt like I was rambling. The point is, I wanted to make a very clear distinction between difference and negativity. Let me break that down a little more. So, disagreement, so a difference, diversity of thought. This is around ideas being different and you having literally you not agreeing with someone because your frame of mind and your opinion is different, and everyone's opinion is framed by their lived experience, from the way that they are viewing the problem, the way that they are viewing the current solution, assumptions. There's all of this context, right, that's going into a person coming to a particular conclusion. And if it's different, that is actually really positive in a team environment. The reason that this is positive is because the more ideas that you have on the table, and once those ideas are evaluated and analyzed and all of that information is brought together, everyone can kind of pick apart those ideas and say, I like this part of that one, and I don't like this part of this one, and this one's nice, but this one I don't understand so much, and here's how I was thinking about the problem, and I don't agree with that. Those types of differences are what, that is how you fine tune a really crappy idea and you build it into something really, really good. And then you start to test that idea, right, with users, a particular group that you think could possibly be interested in the solution, and you try to validate that assumption. And you say okay, so did they come to a conclusion that was similar to the conclusion that I came to, or was it completely different? And you use that feedback to improve your product. Now, some people hold their ideas core to their values, so they believe the almost the weight that this idea has and the way that it presents to other people. If I get positive feedback about that idea, then that means that I'm doing a wonderful job. It's almost like this. It's like college or school or elementary school or something, right? It's there's an assignment on the table, and there's basically a right answer to it, unless this is an essay. It's if it's math or something, or if it's science, chemistry, or a question like that. There's pretty much a right answer and a formula to get there. And so you're trying to get to the right answer, but that's not what life is like, and that's definitely not what work is like. And that is something that really separates junior people from senior people. The more senior that I've become, I've really started to realize I appreciate having bad ideas, because I've worked on so many teams. I've been introduced to so many different technologies, so many different ways that teams collaborate and work and mesh and don't mesh and do it right and do it wrong and fail and test assumptions and waste money, and the users like it and the users don't. When you see that so many times, you start to realize you start to see certain patterns about how you actually get to the really good solutions, and they usually do not start with iteration 1. The first iteration is gonna be crappy, and it's supposed to be. You're just supposed to start from a starting place. Now, the interesting thing about schools or colleges are typically if you go to a better school that and you're surrounded by smarter people, when those people come together, they're usually just starting from a more informed place. But that really has nothing to do with the impact of the solution. There's still this process of iteration that they go through everyone else, that is going to determine whether the idea turned out to be a good concept or not. It definitely doesn't start there. And so I just really want to drive home the fact that just because someone disagrees with your idea, that doesn't mean they don't like you, or that there's something negative about you, or that the team dynamics are awful, or that something really, really needs to change. And I think this is this is a huge problem, I think, with teams where people are just simply working with people that they like I like whatever it means to like someone, because there's been definitely days when I like certain people and then I don't like the same person. It definitely flips. There's no person in my life where I'm like, I like this person every day. It's yeah, no, some days you got this person, some days there's another person. It's not one person every single day. It's a roller coaster with everybody. Everybody has the potential to have a good idea, everybody has the potential to have a bad idea. And I think it's about the bounce back and starting to analyze okay, so if you bring an idea to the table and the idea doesn't land for whatever reason, maybe other people on the team are not buying it, they don't think it's the right solution, they don't understand it. Usually that is the issue. They just don't understand the idea that you're bringing to the table. There's some context that you have that everyone else doesn't have, and so that's why the idea doesn't stick. Or sometimes you could propose a solution that solves a different problem than the problem that's on the table. Therefore, your solution is actually a correct solution for a different problem. So it's a match, right? You got to find a real sweet spot between what your assumption is about the way that the thing that you're trying to build is supposed to work, the way that you understand that, validate that with other people on your team, validate it again with your hypothetical users, validate it again with some real users, and bring it back to the team. And it's this cyclical process that goes round and round and round. And the more times you do that, the better the idea gets. And as long as people aren't tied to their ideas, then the iteration happens, the change happens, the growth happens. But you literally have to have the space to get constructive feedback. Constructive feedback is the start of growth. I honestly think if everybody's just bringing to the table good ideas and everyone else is this is great, there's probably something wrong, because either you have a table where everybody thinks the same, which is a problem, because you're gonna keep building similar shit, and after a point that's just not useful for the rest of the world. Hence we have the things that we have now. Everybody's just we have the whole shared economy. Every single thing is shared. No ownership, and a whole bunch of millennials living at home with their parents. So I don't know if, and poverty is a huge, huge, huge problem that has yet to be solved. There's real problems in society and they haven't been solved. So it is pretty fair to say the people who are in leadership right now and the people who have power aren't doing a very good job of this cycle of iteration and bringing new ideas to the table and getting user feedback and building really useful things for their end users. Some people are, most people I think we can say are not. Right? Okay. It's just the lesson I wanted to drive home. Constructive criticism is good. It's not negative. Just because someone says something that you don't agree with, it doesn't mean the person doesn't like you. It doesn't mean they think less of you. It simply means they have a different idea and there's room for growth. So grow. Take the feedback and grow.